I asked this earlier. Who can afford to buy a home in Biden's America?
Federal housing assistance has shrunk to its lowest level in nearly 25 years.
Realtor.com says the median rent last month is up 8% compared to the same time last year.
Breaking news. The American dream just got pricier. Are you sitting down? Because what we're about to reveal will knock you off your feet. In a shocking turn of events, owning a home in the U.S. is now a six-figure affair. That's right, folks. In 22 states and the nation's capital, waving goodbye to renting means saying hello to a six-figure salary. Just a few years back, in 2020, only a handful of states were in this pricey club. But hold on to your hats, because the number has skyrocketed, making the dream of homeownership feel more like a fantasy for many. Stay with us as we dive deep into this crisis, breaking down what it means for you, the average Joe and Jane, trying to nail down a piece of the American pie. Why has the price of home sweet home soared out of reach? Stick around, and we'll uncover the hard truths behind these eye-watering numbers. You will need to net at least $150,000 to afford a mediocre home at some places. All right, let's break this crisis down. We've hit a big bump in the road when it comes to buying a house in the US. It's like, suddenly, you need a pile of cash just to get into the game. In Miami, for instance, you need to be making a cool $143,000 a year to even think about buying a house. And Newark, it's right up there too, with folks needing around $160,000 to get in the door. This crazy house price thing isn't just hitting the folks living by the beaches or in the big cities. Even in places like Bridgeport and Hartford, the amount of money you need to earn to buy a home has shot up like a rocket, more than 30% more than before. But wait, there's more. It's not just the coastal cities feeling the pinch. Even in places we used to think of as more affordable, like the Rust Belt, owning a home is getting tougher. Take Detroit, for example. It used to be more doable to buy a house there, but now you need 19% more cash than before. So, what's the big picture? No matter where you look, from the techie West Coast to the hardworking Midwest, you're probably going to need a six-figure income to buy a house. And with mortgage rates hitting the roof, getting your own place is turning into a real challenge. What's this mean for most of us dreaming of owning a home? Well, things are shaking up, and it's getting tougher to find solid ground in the housing market. Looking ahead, it's hard to say if buying a house will get easier or if needing a big paycheck for a home is the new normal. Want to buy a house in San Francisco? You better be making $500,000 a year. So, you're thinking about getting your own place, right? Well, strap in, because the ride to home ownership is getting bumpier by the minute. Across the country, the paycheck you need to snag a home is hitting the roof. It's like everywhere you look, from the sunny coasts to the bustling city centers, the price tag on homes is laughing at our wallets. Let's talk numbers. In places like San Francisco and San Jose, you need an eye-watering $400,000 a year to buy a house. Yeah, you heard that right. And it's not just California going nuts. Other states are playing this crazy money game too. Even in areas that used to be a bit easier on the pocket, like the Rust Belt, you've still got to cough up more cash than ever before to get a home. Now, why is buying a home turning into this wild financial ride? It's those pesky mortgage rates shooting up like a rocket. They've gone from super low to sky high, making the dream of owning a home feel more like a fantasy for a lot of people. But here's the kicker. Even with prices and rates going nuts, there are still folks out there fighting to buy a home. Why? Because having a place to call your own is still a big part of the American dream. Yet, with the market acting all crazy, it's turning into a game where only the big earners get to play. And for the rest of us, well, it's like watching from the sidelines, hoping for a chance to jump in. But don't lose hope. We're here to keep you in the loop, breaking down the facts and figures and sharing stories from the front lines of the housing market. So, What's the future look like for buying a home? Are things going to cool down? Or will the six-figure salary become the new normal for homeowners? We'll keep digging and bring you the latest, so make sure to stay tuned as we uncover more about this wild ride in the housing market. Let's explore what's going on with those who are still trying to buy a home in this crazy market. People are stretching their budgets to the max, working overtime, or taking on second jobs, all in the hope of saving enough for that hefty down payment. And let's not forget the bidding wars. In some places, houses are selling like hotcakes, with buyers fighting tooth and nail, often paying way more than the asking price just to get their slice of the dream. But here's something to chew on. Even with all the chaos, some areas are seeing a bit of a cool down. Yes, you heard that right. In cities like Austin and Boise, where the housing market went bonkers during the pandemic, things are starting to settle down a bit. Prices are dropping, and the income needed to buy a home isn't skyrocketing as much as before. It's a glimmer of hope, showing that maybe, just maybe, things might get a bit easier for homebuyers in the near future. Now, let's take a step back and think about what all this means. For many, owning a home is a key part of the American dream, a symbol of success and stability.
All new at 5 o'clock tonight, new data released today is shedding more light on the U.S. housing market. Home prices continue to skyrocket in September, actually hitting a new record. It marks the 8th consecutive month.
But with the current state of the market, that dream is getting harder to reach. It's like the goalposts are moving further away just as you're about to score. This shift is not just about numbers on a page, it's about real people, families, and communities, all trying to navigate an increasingly tricky landscape.
So the cost of homes have spiked. According to Zillow, home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Now let's shift our focus to the people at the heart of this story, the prospective homebuyers navigating these turbulent waters. Who are they? They're folks from all walks of life, young families dreaming of backyard barbecues, professionals climbing the corporate ladder, and even retirees looking for a peaceful place to enjoy their golden years. Each has a unique story, yet they're all bound by a common thread, the increasingly elusive goal of owning a home. Imagine saving every penny, cutting back on every possible expense, and still finding the dream of homeownership just out of reach. That's the harsh reality many are facing. Stories are emerging from every corner of the country, painting a vivid picture of the struggle. In Miami, for instance, buyers are shell-shocked as home prices soar, requiring them to earn over $143,000 a year to afford a median-priced home. And the impact? It's profound and far-reaching. The ripple effects of this affordability crisis touch on aspects of life well beyond just housing. It influences where people can live, work, and raise their families, shaping the very fabric of communities. The dream of owning a home, once a cornerstone of the American dream, is becoming an increasingly distant reality for many. As we continue to peel back the layers of this complex issue, we'll delve into personal stories, uncovering the human side of the statistics. Stay with us as we explore the hopes, challenges, and resilience of those on the front lines of America's housing market saga. Looking ahead, what's in store for the housing market, and how can potential buyers navigate these choppy waters? The future is uncertain, but trends suggest that the market might see some stabilization. While high mortgage rates currently dominate headlines, there's potential for them to level off, possibly making homes slightly more accessible. Yet, experts caution that we're not likely to see a return to the low rates that fueled the market pre-2020 anytime soon. Analyzing the market trends, we see that areas with the most significant price increases during the pandemic, like Austin and Boise, are experiencing some price corrections. However, the overall trend across the country is a shift towards higher income requirements to afford a home, reflecting the broader economic challenges and inflationary pressures. The key for prospective buyers? Patience, research, and strategic planning. Understanding the local market conditions, staying informed about mortgage rate trends, and exploring various financing options can make a world of difference. Additionally, potential buyers should consider the total cost of home ownership, including maintenance, taxes, and insurance when planning their budgets. As we keep an eye on the evolving landscape of the U.S. housing market, remember that change is constant. Market dynamics can shift due to economic policies, demographic trends, and other factors. For those dreaming of buying a home, staying adaptable, informed, and financially prepared is crucial. All right, let's get real about what's coming down the pipeline for folks wanting to buy a house. The market's been all over the place, right? Prices going up, then dipping a bit, and those mortgage rates. They've been like a roller coaster. So what's the deal for the future? Well, it's kind of like looking into a crystal ball, but here's the lowdown. Some of those smart money people think things might chill out a bit. If jobs keep popping up and prices for everyday stuff stop jumping so high, maybe, just maybe, buying a house won't be such a wild ride. Now, for anyone thinking about getting their own place, you've got to play it smart. Watch those neighborhoods where the price tags aren't sky high, or maybe check out houses that need a little love and fix them up. And timing. It can be everything. Sometimes prices drop when it's colder, or if you catch a break with lower interest rates, you might just score a sweet deal. Don't forget, there are all kinds of loans out there, especially for first-timers or veterans, with some pretty good deals. And that money stuff, like saving up a decent down payment, buffing up your credit score, and keeping debt in check, that's all part of the game plan. So, while the market's been a bit of a wild child, with a bit of savvy planning and keeping your ear to the ground, you can find your way into a new home. It's about staying sharp, ready, and on top of your game. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Whether it's finance, tech, politics, or anything in between, we've got you covered with the news you need to know. Join our community of viewers who stay ahead of the curve. Subscribe now, and let's dive into the stories that shape our world together.